Hello, my name is Angie, and this is week 2 on my discussions to screenings and readings in Video Production 1. Today I'll be discussing Walter Murch, a very important figure in film and sound editing industry. He's written a book and made a commentary while editing a scene of a movie, so I figured I'd discuss a few of my thoughts while viewing them. Wow, let me just say, I love his voice and appreciate Walter's attentive nature. Definitely came in handy in his field of expertise. He definitely brings home the message when editing how editors can benefit from looking at the scene they're editing as a whole. These individuals' cuts can alone determine the tone, focus of subject, and pacing of the whole movie rather than just the scene. When viewing these films, I haven't considered the whole dance of eyes notion, but when he brought it up, it gave me a realization.
You hold shots a certain length, you allow a certain train of thoughts to happen. When you cut a shot off, you've also cut off the thinking about that shot.
These are moments I tend to observe when watching a horror movie. The victim eyeing an object that they can use for defense while it cuts to their POV directly staring at the object they're hoping to grab. It definitely makes sense with continuity, but I think it's hearing it and being able to see the mountain scene edited while keeping this in mind, along with Walter's commentary, that makes it easier for the viewer to see why moments of fusing character viewpoints and the film's narrative points can work well. In the blink of an eye, Perspective on Film Editing by Walter Murch is a pretty solid discussion on the art of editing and what to keep in mind during the post-production stage. So in this chapter, Why Do Cuts Work? It certainly makes movies more digestible to humans. We experience our own cuts in life, like blinking just as we're cutting a turn on the street, or sleeping and waking up. You just cut down 6 to 8 hours of closed eyelids. You consider it as cutting a bad bit. He actually names that as his next chapter, cutting out the bad bits. He kind of started to lose me with his comparisons on DNA of chimpanzees and humans. He was going to make the comparison of editing and cutting can be different amongst two editors. I understand that he meant that he observed how two products can be made with the same material, but from the viewpoint of two different people. In his next chapter, called Most and the Least, I like how he doesn't just go into editing recorded footage in filmmaking, but he also makes the argument in sound production. I'm currently taking that class, so it was a pleasant surprise reading that short chapter. I definitely agree with his point on the higher quantity of tracks not easily increasing the quality of a mix. Effort is needed to blend the intricacies of sound mixing. You can't completely defy the rules of music theory. There's a certain expectancy or bar that listeners tend to hold when listening to a scene of a movie. You can't show a one-on-one conversation between two characters in a heartfelt scene and impulsively add sound cues that associate with heavy-filled, dramatic, action-packed themes. You just kill the moment, unless you have a carefully constructed way of doing it. I believe re-editing visuals to go along with newly arranged audio can work. You just have to maintain a certain level of consistency to it, which actually perfectly transitions to his next chapter, The Rule of Six. The emphasis on emotion and story being consistent throughout editing shots is something I deemed to be a pretty important rule. The explanation of eye trace is reminiscent of his commentary on editing Cold Mountain. Continuity being conserved is definitely something that audience members can appreciate and still praise to this day when comparing old classics with new movies that appear tone deaf or deviate from the mood intended in a scene. In class, I was given 2 clips to work on Premiere Pro. One being Fire Drill from The Office, one of my favorite moments in the show by the way, and 2, a Mr. Beast challenge. Yeah, I don't like him. But for the purpose of this classroom exercise, it was necessary seeing 2 genres of videos in order to observe the amount of cuts. The Office is a documentary style of filming, so they had to stay on character shots longer and rely mostly on zoom-ins before fully committing to cutting another angle. Mr. Beast's video, however, it's targeting kids. You'd think that his crazy antics alone would be enough to get a viewer to stay.
We're stuck on this raft, and it's not going to be easy.
This is brutal.
We're all at rock bottom now. This challenge went from fun to a literal nightmare very fast.
I strongly believe a good reason why people tend to keep on watching Jimmy's videos is because of his editing team. The fast-paced energy is needed in order to retain the viewer's attention. There were definitely way more cuts in his compared to The Office. I can't imagine the amount of rewatching these editors have to go through, not just on Mr. Beast's videos, but overall when they edit YouTubers' videos that fall under the genre. As for actually editing on Premiere Pro, I liked it. The arrangement on the tools, options, and windows on the screen made it seem a bit intimidating at first, but with our professor's direction, it made the experience more beginner-friendly. The task of splitting footage when a new cut was introduced was easy at first, but the moment I put the headphones on and continued to cut and rewind the scenes...
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh, fire! Oh my god!
It sounded like chaos to my ears. I loved it. I'm definitely excited in getting the hang of using that software.
No, Tom. I'm serious. Look at his ears. That is huge.
So, about the bear video. Where did the bear go? Where's the bear? That's what I thought the whole time while viewing it in class. Obviously, the intent was to divert the viewer. I actually showed this to the person I'm seeing at a restaurant, and it was on the phone, so it was perfect seeing him try to click away from the ad. But he already knew that Adult Swim tends to do this type of content. As for editing, it showed an amazing use of fade-outs, SFX, a motion blur, great lighting, and suspense. The filmmaker and editing team knew how to film this as an infomercial in the beginning, and slowly craft the narrative of the effects of the drug being advertised actually affecting the main lead. And the size of the video format changing. Brilliant. It's at this point I wish I knew all the film and editing terminology so I can praise every single part of this production. Maybe I'll save it for a separate video, but for now I can confidently say that there was a lot of work put into it and obviously resulted in an amazing product. Overall, those are my thoughts on the readings and the screenings in class and outside of class, and I enjoyed every one of them, and I'm hoping to get more use of Premiere Pro, and that's all.